It was supposed to be the testimony that ended everything. One witness, one courtroom, one chance to expose a criminal empire that had operated in the shadows for nearly a decade. Federal agents promised he would be protected. Prosecutors believed his testimony would send powerful men to prison for the rest of their lives. The city waited. News cameras gathered outside the courthouse before sunrise. The courtroom filled with reporters, investigators, and grieving families who had waited years for justice. But the witness never arrived. His heavily guarded hotel room was empty. The security cameras had captured him entering the building the night before, yet they never recorded him leaving. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, no body, no ransom demand, no explanation. It was as if the most important witness in the country's biggest criminal trial had simply vanished into thin air. To this day, investigators still debate one chilling question. Was he kidnapped, murdered, or did he disappear by choice? 38-year-old Daniel Mercer never intended to become a whistleblower. For nearly 12 years, he worked as a financial analyst for a logistics company known as Northbridge Transport, one of the city's fastest-growing businesses. On paper, the company appeared successful. Hundreds of trucks, millions of dollars in annual revenue, government contracts, awards for community service. Its owner, Victor Hale, was celebrated as a respected businessman and generous philanthropist. But behind the polished image, Daniel discovered something horrifying. Company accounts contained unexplained transfers worth millions of dollars. Freight records had been altered. Entire shipments existed only on paper. Hidden ledgers suggested Northbridge Transport was secretly moving illegal firearms, narcotics, and laundered money across multiple states. First, Daniel convinced himself there had to be an innocent explanation, until one afternoon, he accidentally opened a file that wasn't meant for him. Inside were payment records linked to unsolved murders, political bribery, and disappearances dating back almost 8 years. That moment changed his life forever. Daniel quietly copied several financial records onto an encrypted flash drive. He planned to contact federal investigators. But before he had the chance, someone else already knew. 3 nights later, he returned home to find his front door unlocked. Nothing appeared stolen. Nothing was damaged. Only one thing had changed: his office desk. The flash drive he had hidden inside a dictionary remained exactly where he left it. Except, it had been turned upside down. Tucked beneath it was a single sheet of paper. Contained only 4 handwritten words. "We know what you found. No fingerprints. No DNA. No surveillance footage. Just a message." Daniel reported the incident to police. Without physical evidence, they could do little more than document the complaint. From that night onward, he slept with the lights on. Months later, Daniel secretly contacted federal authorities. Agents from a multi-agency task force listened as he described years of financial fraud, shell companies, falsified shipping manifests, and suspicious deaths connected to the organization. His evidence exceeded every expectation. The investigation expanded rapidly. Wiretaps, search warrants, financial audits, undercover operations. After nearly 18 months, prosecutors announced sweeping indictments against several executives and alleged associates. Victor Hale denied every accusation. His attorneys insisted the case relied almost entirely on the testimony of one frightened employee seeking personal gain, Daniel Mercer. Without him, the case would likely collapse. Federal authorities relocated Daniel into protective custody. His identity became confidential. His movements were restricted. He rarely spoke to anyone outside investigators. Even his younger sister, Emily, only received brief phone calls every few weeks. She later remembered something Daniel said just days before the trial. "If anything happens to me, don't believe the first story they tell you." She asked what he meant. He simply changed the subject. Those would be among the last words she ever heard from him. The evening before his testimony, Daniel checked into a secure hotel reserved exclusively for protected witnesses. 2 federal agents remained stationed outside his floor. Additional officers monitored entrances. The building contained more than 80 surveillance cameras. At 8:17 p.m., Daniel ordered dinner. At 9:02 p.m., he called Emily. He sounded unusually calm. "I think this is finally over." They spoke for 9 minutes. At 10:11 p.m., security cameras recorded Daniel entering his room carrying legal documents. That was the final confirmed sighting. The next morning, agents knocked on his door. No answer. They unlocked it using a master key. The room was empty. His wallet remained. His passport remained. His watch sat beside the bed. His testimony documents were neatly stacked on the desk. The window was sealed from the inside. The emergency stairwell alarm had never activated. No one had seen him leave. News spread within hours. The courtroom emptied. Families of victims cried openly. Television networks interrupted regular programming. The disappearance dominated headlines nationwide. Investigators searched nearby buildings, rivers, construction sites, forests, airports. Nothing. Forensic teams found only one unusual detail. A coffee mug inside Daniel's room contained traces of a powerful sedative. Yet toxicology experts couldn't determine whether Daniel had consumed it voluntarily. There were no fingerprints except his own. The mystery deepened. 3 weeks later, technicians reviewing hotel surveillance frame by frame noticed something strange. At exactly 2:13 a.m., every camera covering Daniel's hallway froze simultaneously. Not for minutes, only 19 seconds. When the recording resumed, nothing appeared different, at least initially. Months later, enhanced analysis revealed one subtle change. A housekeeping cart had appeared outside Daniel's room. No employee ever admitted pushing it there. Hotel records showed no scheduled cleaning overnight. The cart itself was never located. Investigators wondered whether it had been used to hide a person or remove one. Just as investigators focused on the hotel, a fisherman nearly 200 miles away discovered a waterproof backpack floating along a riverbank. Inside were spare clothing, a burner phone, and Daniel's encrypted flash drive. Surprisingly, none of the files had been deleted. Instead, several new documents had been added. Someone had copied classified witness schedules, internal law enforcement communications, confidential meeting locations, information only available from inside the investigation. Authorities now faced a terrifying possibility. Someone within the task force had leaked protected information. The investigation expanded once again. This time, the hunters were searching for one of their own. An anonymous caller contacted investigators 6 months later. Using a voice distorter, the caller claimed Daniel had uncovered a second criminal network operating inside legitimate institutions. According to the caller, Victor Hale wasn't the mastermind. He was merely one piece of something much larger. The caller provided several details never released publicly. Before investigators could trace the call, it disconnected. The number had been spoofed through multiple countries. The lead went cold. Then, history repeated itself. One detective assigned to Daniel's disappearance failed to report for work. His vehicle was later found abandoned beside a rural highway. Inside were investigation files concerning the suspected information leak. The detective was eventually located alive several days later. He refused to explain where he had been. He immediately resigned. He has never publicly discussed the case. His silence fueled endless speculation. As years passed, 3 major theories emerged. The first suggested Daniel had been murdered before reaching the witness stand. Supporters believed corrupt insiders arranged his disappearance to destroy the prosecution's case. The second argued Daniel voluntarily disappeared after learning he could never truly escape those pursuing him. Some investigators noted the lack of violence inside the hotel room. The third theory became the most disturbing. Daniel may have entered a covert witness relocation program after authorities uncovered a larger conspiracy that could not safely be prosecuted at the time. Officials have never confirmed such claims. No credible evidence has proved any of the theories. The criminal trial proceeded without Daniel's testimony. Several defendants were convicted on financial crimes. Others were acquitted of the most serious charges due to insufficient evidence. Victor Hale maintained his innocence until his death years later. Daniel Mercer has never been found. No verified sightings. No confirmed communications. No remains. Every anniversary of the trial, candles are placed outside the old courthouse by families who still believe he tried to do the right thing. Some believe he died protecting the truth. Others believe he is alive somewhere, forced to remain silent forever. And somewhere inside a forgotten evidence locker, the original hotel room key still waits in a sealed plastic bag. Untouched, unexplained. A silent reminder that sometimes the most terrifying true crime mysteries are not the ones with too many answers, but the ones with none at all. So what do you think? Was Daniel Mercer murdered before he could testify? Did someone inside the investigation betray him? Or did the only man who knew the whole truth choose to disappear forever?